Hey, 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 it is an unstoppable day. It's your boy Terrance, the unstoppable Coach Leftridge. Come on in, like and share. Come on in, like and share as we share another unstoppable thought with you. So now it is the day after the experience. Yes, the day after the BTBY experience, where we helped you become the best version of you over these last 72 hours or so that we shared together in the great city of Kansas City. Shout out to Kansas City, Missouri, and the whole BTBY team there. Shout out to the KC Airport Hilton Hotel, which was our venue for the weekend. Shout out to all the behind the scenes team that put this extraordinary experience together. And of course, as always, shout out to the professor of change, Brenda Ringwood, for having the vision for what has now become an even bigger and better event. Yep, that's right. I heard from a number of people over the course of this weekend, and they said this experience was even better than the last one, if that's even possible, But that's the whole premise behind the ideal of becoming the best you. Even in creating these experiences for you each and every time, we want to be better than we were the last time because, good, better, best. We can't let it rest until our good becomes our better. And yes, our better becomes our best. So each and every time, that's what we're going to try to bring to you, a bigger and even better experience with the focus not on us, but on you, helping you with tools, tips, and strategies to help you become the best version of yourself. Now, as I said at the beginning, this is the day after. This is what I like to call the day after the information overload, the day after the experience hangover. And, maybe you may not have experienced this in your life, but, I'm not ashamed to say that in my life, I've had a couple of hangovers in my life. I've had some great, great times and I've partied and I've experienced people and I've had fun and food and libation and fellowship. And after that was over, man, there was a hangover. You know why they call it a hangover, because there's just some things from that experience that you want to hang on to, that you want to take with you after you leave that experience and go back to your everyday life, or to, as they like to say on TV, let's get back to our original programming. There's things that you want to carry over with you from that experience. And then conversely, maybe there were some things that happened in that experience that was just so huge, so phenomenal, so experiential that it, man, took you to this high, 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 and now you're having this low, 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 low. You're going back to your original programming. You're going back to the things you had to do, not the things you wanted to do over the last 72 hours of that experience. You're going back to the problems that maybe you had forgotten about over the last 72 hours of your experience. You're going back to possibly doing the things that you were doing maybe wrong, or maybe just not all the way right, that had you come to the BTBY experience in the first place. To correct those things, to do those things better, to go from good to better, and hopefully to the best after you left the conference. And now you're in that after moment. And what are you going to do? Are you going to go back to doing the things the way you used to do those things? Or now you're going to take those tools, tips, and strategies you got and start a new path, start a new journey? I spoke to you guys over this experience about the journey and not the destination, focusing on the journey and who you become as a result of the journey, not where you go to get to your destination. And one thing I left you guys with yesterday was what happens after the experience. I told you that your future lies in the follow-up, and your fortunes, they lie in the follow through. So for the next couple of minutes that I'm going to share with you, I want to talk to you about that. Your future lies in the follow up. You came to this conference, you experienced the speakers, you got to meet new people that you'd never met before. You got to let your hair down at the black tie event. You got to really tap into yourself. If you followed directions, you probably took copious notes because we said to you many times that note takers are money makers and the hand is the digital recorder of the mind. But now you're back to your original programming. And what are you going to do with all of those business cards you picked up? What are you going to do with all those notes that you took? What are you going to do with all those new relationships that you introduced yourself to? What are you going to do with all the things that came to you and for you because you decided to show up to this event to help yourself become the best version of you? Well, your future lies in the follow up. I did some relationship building. I got a chance to get inspired by Arkevius Armstrong so much that I even bought his shirt, the Me versus Me shirt. And it spoke to me because you're not in a battle with anyone else. You're always in a battle with the last version of yourself and the current version of yourself as you move through this journey to becoming the future version of yourself. It's all about me versus me. And because Arkevius inspired me to think about that, now I have a new direction in my journey. But my future lies in the follow up. Now that he gave me that nugget, how do I follow up with Arkevius? Am I going to send him a text? Am I going to send him a voicemail? Am I going to write him a letter and say, thank you, Arkevius, for introducing me to the concept of me versus me? That's something that can help you in your future. You probably went to some of the vendors and you probably picked up some of their merchandise, like Lotus Richey's book, Harnessing Your Thoughts. Take the reins, control your life, and win. It says it all there in the title. If you harness your thoughts, you can take control of the reins and your life and win. So now your future is in the follow up. Are you going to follow up now that you purchased the book and actually read the book and find out how you can harness your thoughts so that you can become the best version of you? And are you going to put into implementation any of the things that you read in this book? That's what's going to determine your future journey. Wherever you are in life, your mind got there first. So now where do you want your mind to take you in your future journey to becoming the best version of you? Oh, but wait, there's a second part to what I just said to you. There's a second part to just not your future, but your fortunes. Your future is in your follow up, in following up with the people that you connected with, in following up with the business cards that you picked up, with the phone number or with an email. The follow up is in reaching out to the people after the conference that you met for the first time in the conference so that you can continue to have those relationships that are going to nurture your future. But your fortunes, yeah, your fortunes are in the follow through. Because not only did people reach out to you, but you reached out to people. Perhaps you were one of those vendors there with one of those books or with one of those pieces of product or with one of those services that you wanted to offer. And people purchased from you and people gave you their information. They gave you their information with their emails and with their phone numbers. They gave you their information with their credit cards or their cash app. They gave you their information with a handshake and saying, I would love to follow up with you. Now, are you going to follow through? Because your future is in the follow up. But your fortunes, especially as a vendor, especially as a speaker, especially as an entrepreneur, your fortunes are in the follow through. Yes, somebody way smarter than me probably told you to go ahead and put that contact card on your table. Somebody probably also told you to put next to that contact card a list where people can write down their information. They can give you their email. They can give you their phone number. They can give you the best time to connect with you and how they like to be connected with. Now, are you going to follow through and take that piece of paper with all that contact information? Are you going to follow through and go back and put all those phone numbers into your CRM, your customer relations management system? And are you going to pick up the phone and call Alice, call Mary, call Thomas, call Barry, whoever stopped by and was a blessing to you as your table? Are you going to reach back out to them to see how you can continue to be of service to them? Are you going to create what the professor of change talked about? Relationship, the state of being in relation. You started a conversation, but you maybe didn't build the relationship. Your future is in the follow up, but your fortune is in the follow through. So, what are you going to do to get over the hangover of being in this thing called becoming the best you? And how are you going to take it to the next level? How are you going to turn your future and your fortunes into what you want them to be by doing the follow up and doing the follow through? Hopefully, I gave you some tips and suggestions within this video that you can start doing right now so that you can have the future and the fortunes that you are desiring to have. And while we're on the subject, I want you to know that we appreciate you. We appreciate you for coming out. We appreciate you for sharing in the experience. We appreciate you for allowing us to be of service to you. And hopefully you'll take the next step and you will purchase our book. It's the BTBY, Becoming the Best You, The World is Ready book. We've got 22 phenomenal family members of BTBY that share their story of how they are becoming. Again, they are in the act of becoming the best version of themselves because they recognize the world is ready for them and they are ready for you. You can go purchase the book on Amazon right now. And I encourage you to purchase the book on Amazon. Go on over to Amazon.com. You can look up my name, Terrance Leftridge. You can look up Brenda Ringwood, her name, or you can look up the name of the book, Becoming the Best You, The World is Ready. And we encourage you to order a copy. Why? Because we want you to see how they became the best version of themselves. And hopefully, just hopefully, something you will read in this book will encourage you, motivate you, inspire you to become the best version of you too. That's number one. But number two, by purchasing a copy of this book, you support us in our continuing endeavor to make this movement bigger, larger, stronger, more powerful, where we are truly looking to reach the world because we know the world is ready to become the best version of themselves. If you become the best version of you and I become the best version of me, then all of a sudden we become the best versions of us in our communities, in our cities, in our countries, and yes, in the world. So we hope you'll consider going over to Amazon.com. I will put the link in this video at the end on Amazon where you can purchase your book, Becoming the Best You, The World is Ready, curated by Brenda Ringwood, and of course yours truly, Terrance Leftridge, Mr. Unstoppable, wishing you nothing but fortunes in your future. But remember, your future is in your follow-up. Your fortunes is in your follow-through. Hey, that's my time. That's our unstoppable thoughts. Wherever you are in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day, but turn your future into your fortunes and make it an unstoppable day. Take care.